For full episodes as they air, listen to Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and blogtalkradio.com/Grants Rants.
Broadcasting from Hollywood, California, it's Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk.
Jeff Lewis is in trouble again, this time facing a lawsuit. We break down Real Housewives of OC trailer. Catherine Zeta Jones is done apologizing for being rich. And we examine the Real Housewives of New York current season madness. Lian Castillo joins the rants. Let the ranting begin. I am joined by Lian Castillo, sitting across from me, host and actor, and as seen on AfterBuzz TV and other places, of course.
Yeah.
Welcome to the rants.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad to finally have you on the show.
I'm glad to finally be here.
It's time. You know, we know each other from AfterBuzz. You know, we did a few shows together, and we've really kind of connected over the last couple of months, I feel, and become friendly, and it's a good thing. So I'm glad.
Who can't connect over Luann?
Oh, I know. Yes, for those who listen to my not so, how can I say, impartial review of Luann's show, Lian and I were in attendance. We went together, and that's where that came from.
Yes.
I don't know. I was expecting, I guess Ben Rimolo probably doesn't listen to the rants, and that's fine. But I had him on the following week after I kind of ripped into the show a little bit.
Oh, perfect.
But I think he must be used to it because he didn't call me out about it. I was ready. I was like, I was ready to own it too, because I don't sit up here and fool.
No, we got to be honest about it.
Of course.
We love Lou, but
yeah, the show was what it was.
Yes.
Today's podcast is brought to you by artistpodcast.com, which interviews leading fine art experts. Check out their most recent episode and get their free ebook, The 5 Keys to Art Investing Success. And you can use that with the promo code GrantsRants. Check it out, people. It's a good thing. I've been doing some painting myself. I'm going to check out the ebook definitely, because for me, I'm really into art these days. It relaxes me, and I like to have some around my house. So, why not? Why not get into the finer things in life? Artistpodcast.com. Check it out and pick up the ebook while you're at it. Let's talk about the rants. Here's what's happening. The latest Hollywood talk. Are you keeping up with this Jeff Lewis?
oh my God, of course I am. I live for Bravo drama, and Jeff always brings it.
Oh, definitely. I've been discovering this Jeff Lewis show, the Jeff Lewis Live on Sirius XM, and it really delivers because every week he's in trouble. Mm-hmm. Every week he says something, or someone says something. There's fines from Bravo, so it's kind of appointment listening now because you don't know what's going to happen. And
did you ever see Flipping Out?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
My grandmother loves Flipping Out, so with that, I kind of keep up with it for her, and it's she so can't get over. She can't get over Jeff, and I couldn't either until I moved to LA, and I've met a lot of Jeffs.
Yes, but he has a gauge in his life, so as long as you have a gauge, there's some balance there.
Yes, and they were saying they were together now for almost 10 years, and I remember the show distinctly before Gage came on, so it's kind of crazy how time flies and how long that show has been on.
Yeah, people aren't really big fans of Gage, actually. He has his fan base, but people have opinions about Gage because, he's a newcomer, so to speak. People, especially people that have been watching Jeff for a long time, they're cautious of Jeff. They've seen him go through relationships. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he's been on for a while.
That's me. They had this surrogate, Alexandra Trent, and she gave birth to their daughter in 2016. Now, in 2018, halfway through the year, she's suing, claiming that she never gave consent for footage being aired, and she's suing Bravo, apparently. And, you can't really see her in the video footage that they used. She claims that the camera's behind a curtain, and, the child now is almost 2 years old, so it sounds like a money grab.
It's a total money grab. First of all, how you knew the cameras were there. You knew what you're getting yourself into. He's a reality star. That's what he is. Reality is that's his niche. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Why would they not be there in that sense? That's his job. And come on. I know she's got other things on her mind, but there are microphones and people are mic'd up and there are producers in and out of the room.
Let's talk about why you're really angry. He said negative things about your private parts on national television. He said if I was going to be showing everyone my vagina, I would have gotten a wax.
Yeah, and this aired forever ago. She said a business associate saw this and heard the comment and then ran to her saying, you should go after him.
You know you saw it yourself. How are you not going to see yourself on television?
I know.
She's lying.
I know. That's the thing. I don't believe it when people are on a TV show is like, I never saw the show. I never saw an episode. I don't believe it. Why wouldn't you? Is that like a common occurrence for this surrogate to be on TV giving birth?
No one buys that. No one buys that.
No. So she said that producers agreed to the condition not to be filmed. But again, filmed behind a curtain. So I listened to this SiriusXM show. And shout out to Erin Martin. A friend of the podcast has been on her Facebook page, a Pink Shade. Someone posted in there, have you heard Jeff Lewis' most recent episode? You have to hear it. So of course I did. And, they had on Leah Black from Miami Housewives, and she spoke kind of on their behalf. They really couldn't say much, but you could tell they were pissed at this surrogate, of course. And they kind of trotted her out there to say, what it was and that it's probably going to go to arbitration and they don't feel like it's going to go anywhere. I don't know. I
mean, how can those Bravo contracts got to be airtight.
Exactly.
Like, girl, you knew you were getting yourself into. Like, why don't you just call Jeff and be real with him? Because he's actually such a real person. He might have respected you a little bit more. If you just called him up and said, you know what? I know it's been 2 years, but I'm just kind of upset. I still can't let it go. I really don't like what you said about me. I did something amazing for you and you compensated me. Mm-hmm. But you also said some really negative, nasty things. And I honestly didn't really know that everything was going to be shown. So you know what? I'm just a little bit upset. Yeah. Let's talk about some extra compensation. But I think suing is like the ultimate betrayal. You can't come back from that.
Right.
And I think that's what he's said recently, that the betrayal is what hurts the most.
Yeah, he also mentioned that that's a black mark on his daughter's existence. They'll forever live, when she Googles her name and, just how she came into the world, and it was surrounded by controversy and a lawsuit. Like, it's kind of a rocky way to start, especially in this world. But also, he did give birth to his daughter on television. You set yourself up in a way.
It's a modern way. It's a modern family. So in that sense, I'm not sure if it's going to bother her because she's going to grow up being different in general.
True.
But I do understand what people are saying in that perspective.
Yeah. I think I think Jeff enjoys being like in the news. But...
Yeah. Well, and he's been getting in trouble with Andy in general. Apparently he's been getting fined because of all of his guests that have been on Sirius, like Vicky and Kelly. Like, they've all been spilling about the storylines.
Well, that's what you get when you have this machine and you're looking for outrageous personalities. They're not all going to pull and toe the company line. They're shocking and outrageous and unfiltered for a reason. It's a risk you take. When you put Jeff Lewis and Kelly Dodd in front of two microphones, what do you expect is going to happen?
I was just going to say, it also depends on who you're picking. And if you're like, picking out these beasts, they're going to bring it.
Exactly. And I expect it.
Exactly.
Oh, Lord. Speaking of Kelly, Vicky, you mentioned, season 13 of Real Housewives of OC is premiering July 16th. So, of course, I like to always give it a first look. I've watched the preview a few times. I assume you have as well.
I've seen it.
Yes. So I put some highlights. It starts off with this fake out that there's a line between love and hate, and then it all completely disappears. There's all these dramatic lines in the beginning, and like nobody is looking for that at this point.
Definitely not.
So
We've
it
had
all
enough
disappears.
fakeness in the OC, haven't we?
Yeah, and it all disappears. And they put on the fun music, the Bravo fun music. They have like 2 files that they just recycle through, and then who's falling down, all the fun times, the people drinking, and then is Vicky gonna be proposed to? Now, look, here's my thing. Vicky's of a certain age. She's been married twice, almost 3 times if you count Brooke. She has children. What is she at her age to be worried about getting married for?
Well, the thing about Vicky, she just wants companionship. She's talked about it long enough. So if that was really the case, shouldn't you just keep on going? Like, don't fix what's not broken. You know what I mean?
I agree.
But I don't know. I feel like these days everyone just wants to have the party.
I think you're right. You're onto something.
I mean, these people on a reality show, you know what that means when you get a wedding. You get your own spinoff.
And a lot of things paid for.
Andy Cohen's gonna give it to you if you have a, he'll reward you if you give it. If you sell your soul to him.
Yeah.
Andy always rewards that. He's like, oh yes, honey, the messier the better.
I mean, I've said this for years on Afterwards. I just don't understand why these women have to rush to get married, especially when they've had failed marriages. And that's no shade, but it's like, what's the point when you reach a certain age that you need to be married for? I guess someone could argue insurance and things like that.
Well, especially if there's that much scrutiny on you all the time, wouldn't you want to just get it right? I'm like, I'm just going to wait till I get it right. Because then you can have the true fairy tale as opposed to just like kissing all these frogs on national television. Luann.
Yeah, exactly. All these rushes down the aisle. I don't know if I want to sit through a season of will he or won't he propose like that. I'm not interested. That I don't care for.
And Vicky's guy, I mean, I'm sure he's seen it now, but when we started together, Grants, we were doing OC at AfterBuzz, and it was that season where Vicky had just met Steve, right? And I feel like he was saying the same thing we were talking about, how he had never really seen the show and never really seen Vicky. And I'm like, I hope you've seen it now.
I know you better get binging. Let me just say, you mentioned AfterBuzz and OC, and I do feel bad that I can't continue on that show right now. I was on that panel for a long time.
I know. I wonder if I'll be on it. Well, if I'm on it, you'll be on it. You know that.
I'll slip in as a guest. Yes. I mean, I'd love to, and I hope to pop into New York. So
Shannon's going to come back, so you have to come back and comment on that.
Oh yeah.
And
I tried to keep
face.
Who's that? I know they added 2 new ones. I tweeted. I was like, "Is this one of the new ones? Which one is this? Who's that?"
That Bravo promo pic of Vicky is so insanely airbrushed / retouched / Did she get a facelift? What
I'm
is
so
that?
glad you brought this up. I didn't know so it could change the entire circumference of their face shape. First off,
she looks so puffy and tight.
Secondly, when I saw that photo, I thought it was like a doctor, like, joke, like Vicky's new face. I said, who posted this? I follow many Housewives blogs and comedians. I was like, maybe Heather McDonald posted something cruel and goofy. No, it was from her. Vicky literally went out of her way to make that post on her own page.
Yeah, she's like, my new Air Touch Bravo promotional pic with my new face. Debuting.
That I don't know what they did to her skull, but like they reshaped her whole
Vicky.
bone structure. Like that is somebody else. Like, and this friend of mine posed at work sent me a tweet. It was like, "Which Vicky are you?" And it was like 9 Vickies from season 1 to this current like jack-o'-lantern Vicky at the end. And I mean, that woman she's had probably the most amount of work done next to Joan Rivers. And I love Joan. That's no shade against Queen Joan. But like this woman has had tremendous work. Remember she had the dimples? We lost those somewhere between like 2016.
There's some form of a dimple in there now. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like just an area where filler wasn't put in or something. I don't know. There's a lot going on there, girl.
Yeah, I'm not being a hater. I'm just saying this is a new look, and we need a moment to adjust.
Yeah,
just give us. We've watched Vicky for a long time, and look, we're not the only ones saying this, so that's all I can say about that. What else happened in this preview? Shannon is going to start dating too soon, and it seems for the cameras. Why would she start dating? I mean, is it too?
Who would want to go on a date with her?
People who don't watch the show, and I love Shannon, but
I mean, she's a hoot. I mean, she's fun, like I think Kelly was onto something when she was like, you know what? I like the way you think and I like the way you drink. When she get a couple tequilas in Shannon, she's in a good mood and a good state of mind. She'll be fun at dinner, but as far as like, I want to get romantic and take this woman out on a date, no thanks.
I will say, Shannon, you need a brush. There was some shot in this preview, and I think you were on the date, and you need a brush because your hair was just all over the place. I think they made you look crazy with that edit. Just saying that. So what else happened? Kelly says, "You know why divorce is expensive? Because it's worth it."
Because it's worth it. That's amazing.
That's a real Kelly line. I will give her that.
Well, you know what though? Like they've been trying to get divorced for a while, and from what it looked like when they were on there and we were on the panel together, she was just saying, "Look, I actually tried to get divorced from him, and he wouldn't let me go.
Yeah.
He's crazy," and I believe it. Especially when you're in a relationship for that long, it can become very tumultuous, and you're just like, "Look, I can't exist if you don't," and vice versa, and then it gets crazy, and people get crazy.
Mm-hmm. I'm anxious to hear the latest, the divorce, where's she living, same thing with Shannon.
Yeah.
Eddie's having a health crisis, and we know this is still playing out. I think Eddie was back in the hospital the week previous of recording this podcast.
What exactly is it?
A hole in his heart, I believe. No, irregular heart beat. It's something scary because he doesn't know his biological father, so he doesn't know what runs in his family. I mean, Eddie is really the picture of health. So it's kind of, if he's having trouble,
totally.
It's kind of scary.
Kind of scary.
Yeah, it is.
Well, genetics are no joke, so I do feel like that might be something that he should look into.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 new housewives are coming on. Gina, I miss Gina, the OG Gina. Now that's the Gina I want back on the show. The OG stirrer, Gina Keo. But this one, she looks like she's going to bring some young energy to the show. I mean, we were given maybe 13 seconds of this woman, so I don't know. I can't judge her from the beginning.
Yeah,
and then this woman. Yeah, this woman, Emily, is coming on. She's Tamra's former friend, and she's coming on to patch things up. Well, what better place to do that than Real Housewives of OC, one of the darkest shows in reality TV.
This is not going to end well.
No.
And it's never good for the new girls on the OC. Like, don't they know they always have to go through the ringer with Vicky?
Yeah, and I'm sure now because Tamra's hit her 10-year mark, so she's riding high. So this girl Emily, though, I like her. I really she's had her waist trainer or something
really spunky. What did she say that made me like her on the preview? Did she say something spunky?
She was the one that was having her people who work for her tie her waist trainer or her corset, and she's an attorney.
Oh yeah. I think that's what I liked about her, that she had a waist trainer on or something.
Catherine Zeta Jones, someone I love from one of my all-time favorites movies, Chicago. She'll always be Velma Kelly to me.
Gorgeous,
a classic film actress, one of the few left that won't just do anything. So Page 6 had an article. They said, I love this is so Page 6. Catherine Zeta Jones, I'm sick of apologizing for being rich and gorgeous. Now, they're paraphrasing, but, she did all but say this. Quote, I'll read the quote like I'm really delivering the news over here. She said, "One thing I'm not is humble anymore. I'm sick of being humble. I really am. So sorry I'm rich. So sorry I'm married to a movie star. So sorry I'm not bad looking."
God, I love her.
Go for it. That's an old school Hollywood glamour quote.
And she's right. She is. You know what I mean? I always say, if you're going to be a bad bitch, it's because you're a bad bitch. But the one thing I can't stand is when someone tries to be bad and they're not. It's like, oh, that would have really worked if you were actually bad, but you're not. Mm-hmm. But she really is a badass. She's an amazing actress. She's gorgeous. She is married to a movie star. She's filthy rich. Good for you, honey. Good for you. That's goals.
I know someone listening is saying, wow, Grant must be such a hypocrite because he just likes Nene Leakes because she's not humble. And I've said it on the show. I don't like people that are not humble. But you know what? So I ride the line with this because I don't like people that are obnoxious. I don't think I could work for her as an assistant. She seems to really be out of touch. She's definitely like that New York top 1% elite, household name type chick. And that's good for her. Because at the same time, I love her as an actress, so I respect that. Yeah. And to me, that is a quote that a older Hollywood actor or actress would make. And people would expect it.
And not a reality star because we wouldn't buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can see all sides, and she's not, this isn't her first time, putting out these diva lines. And Page Six put these out there in their article, so I had to copy them in because they're just so over the top.
So Page Six.
In 2000, I know there's like nothing else to report, so let's pull things from 2009 and 2003. From '09, she says, "Some people collect art or lots of money. We collect houses because if we have to look at something, we prefer the view." As long as it's not the failed ABC daytime talk show. So she also claims in this 2009 interview that she buys duplicate outfits because sometimes she just can't find them in her spaces.
Oh. The struggle.
I know, ridiculous. 2003, she said, $1 million isn't a lot of money for people like us.
You know what? She's right about that. $1 million isn't that much, but I'll still take it, please.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's more than I have.
I'll take half of that.
Yeah. I mean, granted, it's obnoxious. I totally get it, especially in these times when people are struggling. But you know what? Sometimes you're just going to laugh. I mean, this woman is so out of touch, but it's fine. I'm here for it.
I mean, but she is kind of right, though. $1 million is not like, especially living in Los Angeles. I'm like, ugh, that would be gone in a second.
Well, yeah. Remember they sold a big penthouse and right on like Central Park West or something. I mean, and they got like 16 mil or something for. I mean, so really, yeah, $1 million is really not much for her. But I mean, I don't know if someone like her could survive if she just made $50,000 a year.
Oh no, she couldn't. Which also says something else, but it's like a different conversation.
Yeah, I enjoy her. I'm okay with this. Every once in a while. It's okay when you're as successful as her and Michael.
Exactly.
I'm okay.
She's not like going on Naked and Afraid or anything. Like she has nothing to worry about.
Yeah,
she's gonna be fine.
Yeah. Going back to Real Housewives of New Jersey, Teresa. She's surprised a bodybuilder, which I didn't know. And she had a competition June 9th. Did you see the photos?
Oh my God, she looks amazing / kind of scary.
There was a lot of talk about like her tan. Like, I mean, what's going on?
Well, the tan is part of it. Like, no one's used to it, but people talk about it all the time when they see the show. But I've been watching, for some reason, those kind of shows since I was obsessed with American Gladiators when I was little. So I always magically ended up on those kind of channels, and the tanning is a huge part of it. The darker the better, and you always win with your backside. Your backside muscles and buttocks is what you're voted on the most, and what it like shows your most defined. Everyone feels like your abs say how healthy you are. It's actually your back which shows like the most physique. Yeah. So that's why they turn around a lot and they flex, showing off their backside, because that's what wins. And the tanning shows the defiance of the muscles physically on the body.
Oh, that's why. Okay, it makes sense.
That's why people tan. The lights and everything and the shimmer. You see, like, the glutes can look better and stuff. So it's just part of the package.
Oh, well, I would be screwed because I have very little ass. My back muscles are there for daily purposes only, and I'm scheduled to have a spray tan before Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk Live. So I've got none of the above.
You would need like a triple coat.
Yeah. I've got nothing. But you know what? The more I think about it, and like she even said in this article, she's like, I'm in like the best shape of my life. She's 46. I've seen a lot of folks later, especially with Instagram, and they're like, I am in the best shape of my life, and I'm like 52. So it gives me a lot of hope that like, okay, while I should capitalize on, where I am as a young guy, and I could probably get it easier now, like my lifestyle just doesn't suit that. So at least I know that someday, maybe when I'm 46, I'll be the new Teresa.
Who are you telling? Like, we're both over here pretty young, and I mean, I just choose to have McDonald's instead. But, I do go out and even like the bars here in West Hollywood, like the 50-year-old guys they have abs. So I just feel like it is normal for like later on in life to realize, my body is a temple. And now that I'm older, I really should take care of it. And Teresa started that in jail or camp, whatever one want to call it. Yeah. And I feel like it's a really good thing that she's continued it, especially since Joe's away.
I know.
You got to put that aggression somewhere.
Exactly. I think that's what she attributes it to, is just the stress of her life. She needed some type of a distraction, which I totally get.
But let's keep it real. She has a young boy toy on the side.
Well, she's got some type of trainer walking her through the whole thing too.
I'm sure it'll pop out on New Jersey.
Yeah, maybe. Also, everything. My grandmother will have a laugh with this if she's listening, which she better be. She always says that everything is for her daughters. Of course, in this article, she did this to show her daughters to work hard and to reach goals. That's right. So typical, but good for her. She's healthy. She's using her time wisely. When did Joe get out? He was in for 41 months. He went in 2016.
He has a while. Oof. I think he has another couple years.
Yikes.
Doesn't he?
41 months, yeah. If you think there's only 12 in a year. I don't know.
He's got a minute. Yeah. I'm not good at math, but I think he's got a minute.
Yeah. Well, good for her. Well, it'll be a storyline, no doubt, on Real Housewives of New Jersey. And I want to give a reminder to anyone listening. Come to Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk live show on June 30th. Look, it's like a low donation amount. It's not going to break the bank. And there's going to be a champagne bar. We're going to have some comedians. I'm going to, of course, go off on the rants. And it's going to be a nice night. And we're going to have a bunch of people from the rants there. And AfterBuzz folks are going to pop in. So check it out. You can find it over on Eventbrite. Just search Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk. We'll be at Open Space LA on Fairfax. It's worth it. So just throwing that out there. And when we come back, Lian and I are going to talk about Real Housewives of New York. There's stuff to talk about, of course. And then we're going to talk more with Lian about his projects, that and more, in a moment. Now this.
You're listening to Grant's Rants. Subscribe and spread the word. There are a lot more rants to come. Listen anytime on all major podcasting platforms. And now, back to the show.
And we're back talking with Lian Castillo here on Grant's Rants. And I'm excited to talk about Real Housewives of New York. Lian, you've been covering it for AfterBuzz. I know you've probably said it all at this point.
Oh.
But I want to hear it here. And of course, I'm hoping to come on the show coming up and give my take so far in the season.
Hopefully you'll be on very, very soon, so check that out. But yeah, I do AfterBuzz, obviously Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Check it out. Let me just tell you, I have been going in on Bethenny.
Somebody needs to.
She needs to be brought down. Like, what is wrong with you?
I've always said, I think she's just a miserable person. I don't hate her, but I mean, this season she's extremely hard to defend.
Well, when we're going with Ramona, that's bad.
Yeah, I know. How about that scene? I put it on Instagram. Granted, we know it's a little old at this point, but that scene with her in the street with the dog and all the cinematography, I've been waiting for that, and that scene did not disappoint. It over-delivered.
It was so funny. I'm like, first of all, Cookie's in the street about to get run over. How hilarious was that?
And she has no clue.
No idea.
Or whatever her dog's
And I'm not being
is.
dramatic. Like, the dog was literally, her entire body was in the street, which is not that big of a deal in any other part of the country. But in New York, on the Upper East Side, are you kidding me? There's taxis flying by around those corners so fast. Like, that was so funny. It was honestly great. And what she said to Bethenny, I loved it. And I love how she threw in a Dorinda stuff too. She's like, Dorinda's mad at you too.
Nutcracker? Did you address that Nutcracker? Did you thank her? Yeah, there was that tight close-up shot of her hair whipping, face like 8 different emotions. Going, you do not support other
Well, you know
women.
how Ramona gets. When she wants to go off on Bethenny, she will. Hello, the bridge. Let's not forget the bridge. You don't have any friends. You barely have Jason. You'll probably screw that up too. And she did.
I may or may not have watched this phone call scene like 8 times because to me it was very real. They didn't have cameras on Bethenny's side, so it wasn't a set script, not scripted, but arranged call.
Exactly.
So this was like quick. This is our last pickup before we all break for holiday, and so you get on the phone and let's address this right now. And it was as real as it comes.
I loved it.
And
so good.
But yeah, I mean, again, everybody across the board feels so guilty for being on Ramona's side. It's like, oh, she's almost defensible, but in this case,
yeah, she's a horrible person as well, So when Ramona's calling you out and she's right, that's when you know you are bad. And Ramona has these moments of clarity once in a while where you're like, someone really is home and someone knows what's happening. So when she becomes really, really evil, I just attribute it to like her being dead drunk on Pinot Grigio or her just really not giving zero. You know what I mean?
It could be.
Or both.
Yeah, a lot of these people who live in their own world, I've picked up on this recently, they know exactly what they're doing.
And you know what? They've all really been gunning for Bethenny lately. And for someone to just like do it, it's great. Like even that scene with, at the table with everything, Luann and Ramona were like, oh my God, like this is awful to watch. And in reality, they were loving every second of it. You know what I mean?
I just think it's funny that now all of a sudden it's a concern if somebody cares about supports women. Now that's like a cause of the show.
I know. And now all of a sudden they're concerned about volume. Like, why are you screaming across the restaurant? Like, really? You guys scream all the time.
They've all screamed. I can't think of any instance where somebody hasn't. Maybe Carol, but...
Oh, I'm really loving this season, though, because Luann is iconic, and she's just continuing to show us that she's iconic and resilient, and she showed us that you can go through the dark times and get really, really dirty, and now you can go all the way back up, because she is on top of it now.
One thing I will say that I have to point out, it's very distracting. It's winter time, it's January. They're talking about the arrest and rehab and all the stuff that's going on. And when they cut to Luann's interview, she's there in some type of like summer halter top.
The blue floral.
Yeah, I mean, she looks great. I hate her, but it's just the outfit choice is very strange for me, especially because in the show, everybody's all bundled up in sweaters and coats, and she's over there in like a summer frock. Okay.
Maybe post-rehab, because she does look thinner, too.
Yeah, so in this most recent episode, the Daily Dish covered it, and they had Jill on, so we saw the funeral. And Jill lost her husband to cancer. She appeared on the show for the first time in a while since last year, and she said she doesn't remember anything about the day. The funeral was held in January. She said 1,000 people were there, including Eric Trump. I mean, is that a name that we want to drop at this point?
Seriously?
I mean,
Did she really say that?
Yes.
She said Eric Trump.
I guess we'll spin it as the president's family recognized her husband's passing. So that does mean something, I guess. We'll put it as
if you could see my face right now.
I know.
The thing about Jill is that I really feel like she didn't make it about Bobby at all. Like the first thing she said to Bethenny, and don't even act like it's the editing, because she walked up and the first thing she said is, I just want to tell you I'm so proud of you. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
How about let's talk about your husband? We are at his funeral.
And then the joking of the gift bags. I was like, wait, where are we going with this?
I can't with you guys, both of you, like between you and her. You're so thirsty to come back on, and you're over here going, I'm just trying to be nice, but I just want to leave everything where it is. I'm like, I can't with both of you. Who are you, Bethenny? Like, who died and made you, like, queen of everything? And Jill is just so thirsty. She was Snapchatting and Instagramming on the way to the funeral on Instagram Live, which I thought was super tacky. No, and she was like, we're on our way to the funeral. We're going to bury Bobby today. Can I just tell you, Grant, like if I was filming in a car on the way to someone's funeral in my family, I wouldn't have been able to get out the sentence before something would have hit me in the face.
Yeah.
Because someone would have been like, what are you doing? Can you just like get off the phone for a quick second? Stop telling the internet what we're doing and grieve.
You literally can't take a day to mentally process the loss of your husband who's supposed to be your best friend and gave you everything. I mean, everyone handles things differently. I know it's been a long time coming, but I wouldn't even feel the need to even have my phone in my hands.
Exactly.
She was like, I don't remember anything. There were 1,000 people. There's so much going on. So how the hell do you have time to do an IG live?
In the limo on the way to bury him.
Terrible. I don't know. I like Jill, but I mean, that is kind of like,
well,
that's surprising.
I'm not sure if I like Jill, but
I like her for the show. She did call herself a bug because she wore those glasses that she had to let everyone know they were Chloe glasses that Jill. Somebody gave her because she didn't wear any makeup to the funeral. Now, This makes me wonder, did she really not wear any makeup? I have a hard time believing that her of all people, with 1,000 people, including Eric Trump, wouldn't wear
Bravo
makeup.
cameras, because you knew that they were going to come, because you knew that the girls were going to come. At least one of them was going to show up.
Yeah, she claims she didn't know Bethenny was coming, but she knew that she was,
And I believe
of course, Ramona.
I believe she didn't know Bethenny was coming because, Bethenny's so elitist and she's so up there. She's not going to tell you. She's just going to pop in, you know what I mean, and make it about her, which she did. And she said it on the show, like, oh, yeah, I walked in and she wasn't there. She was at the bank. And then she walked in and saw me and Allie and, like, freaked out. And, yeah, it wasn't about Bob anymore. It was all about Bethenny and Jill. And then it's, to me, it's just like, I'm just like, I can't, guys. Can we just grieve for the man?
Yeah, I agree. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned this when you walked in. You've been to Luann's house.
I just came back from New York. Yes.
What is this like?
I thought I was going to have the same tagline as Luann when I came back. Like, I've been traveling. I've been to prison.
Oh, I wish.
But I didn't. I just was traveling, but I really thought I was going to go to jail for going to Luann's house. I was literally at her front gate. The little white gate? Because she has a white picket fence.
Oh, so you were at the
Sag Harbor house where they filmed the special with Andy. I was right there. I saw the front door. I saw her little American flag. I saw her little cottage. Saw the humongous lake behind her.
It must be nice.
I know her exact address, the name of her street, which I won't mention. But yeah, I know exactly where Luann lives. I saw Bethenny's house on the highway. I'm telling you, I had the best tour guide. Yeah, I saw where they've all like eaten and where, everybody goes, because there's only like a couple places in the Hamptons where everyone goes to. Yes, so I did hear about them. Luann's neighbors was looking at me like, if you get out of the car, we're calling the cops.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't get out of the car. And plus, my friend who like really knows the area assured me she's not home. She drives a sports car. That Range Rover's always there. 2 hours later, when we're eating our lobster rolls down the street, I see on Instagram Luann washing her sports car in her driveway. So I missed her by like an hour or something. We almost drove back. I almost drove back and said, Lou, I'm outside. Come out. I have tequila. Lou's always been my favorite housewife.
Yeah.
I relate to her the most. She's always gotten caught.
That's such like an important trip. I'm glad that you made time to go to the house.
I had to. I couldn't go to New York without really. I mean, I've gone to New York 1,000 times, and I've never like gone to Sonia's townhouse. I've never gone to Zarin Fabrics, even though I've seen it. But something about the Hamptons was like, I was like, no, I can't not go to Luann's house.
I'm so envious.
And see Bethenny's house on the highway that Ramona hates.
Was it in a bad neighborhood?
Well, no. It's gorgeous. It's just literally on the highway, so I can kind of see what Ramona's talking about. Like, if you pull over, like, you're there. Like, if you pull off to the shoulder, you're in her front yard. She literally lives off the highway. The only thing that's blocking her house from the highway are some, like, big brushes that create some sort of little privacy. But the driveway entrance, like, you can clearly see there's a house there, and
it's very East Coast. I know some places like that in Rhode Island.
Hamptons, Bridge, Sag Harbor.
A lot of the highways are like almost like parkways. Granted, there are lanes of traffic, and it's not like a little town square or anything, but it's not uncommon. Yeah.
Well, there's only one street, the highway, so. Yeah, when people talk about the highway, I knew what she was talking about because I was on the highway. Yeah. My friend's like, we're going to pass Bethenny's house because it's on the highway. And I was like, oh my, this is insane.
Well, you got a lot of, I hope anyway. And I followed you and you were in the city and like, oh, so good, so good.
It was great.
I bet. That was like the best time to go, in my opinion. Tell me more about your experience at AfterBuzz. Where are you right now? You're covering Real Housewives in New York and Netflix Queer Eye, correct?
I am. So Queer Eye just premiered yesterday, so our first show for season 2 will premiere this Sunday night at 6 p.m. We'll be covering the first episode of Queer Eye season 2, so get your tissues ready. We had a great first season.
What a success! And did they pre-tape season 2 before releasing season 1? Because it's like
they just filmed season 2. The past 6 months they've been filming it.
Okay, so they just wrapped.
Yeah, they just wrapped. So they filmed season 1, and then it took off.
Yeah, it's been everywhere.
Blew up. So they were like, we have to do a season 2. So they filmed obviously a season 2 and they went right into releasing another. They released all the episodes, and I've been seeing like JVN and Anthony talking about on Instagram, like, how many episodes are you guys in? So like you could tell like people are diving in. It's something that you can binge, definitely.
Yeah. I love Tan's hair, that pepper.
He has great hair. Anthony is gorgeous. And JVN is my spirit animal. And we're doing also AfterBuzz New York, obviously Wednesday night. So that's what I'm doing for AfterBuzz. So definitely check that out. Follow me at Hollywood Lian, so you can definitely get all the information on all my shows.
Lian, you do a lot of different things. Is there anything that stands out to you as like your favorite, or you look forward to it, that you strive towards?
Well, you know what? I love hosting. It's super fun just because I'm a guy that sits on the couch a lot. So I used that to my advantage. And I'm like, well, you know what? If I'm going to watch all this trashy television, might as well talk about it. So that's how I kind of got into AfterBuzz. But I'm, a Los Angeles guy. I'm just a jack of all trades, master of none, but, occasionally I'm an actor. It's funny because I have had some good luck. So I feel like I'm in this limbo kind of phase where you have done some incredible things, but you can't really talk about them contractually. So you just kind of have to wait around for an article or an IMDb or a release date. So that's when you have something to look forward to, and you're like, I will be able to talk about this soon. But yeah, for now, I'm just a regular guy that's trying to make it in the city and hosting and acting. And, I'm a clown, so I'm always constantly doing something. I'm just trying to find my way, my journey, my footing. And I think that's everybody here.
Yeah, I can relate to that, especially like that's such a true LA experience. It's like you're in between these projects, you can't talk about anything, and then everything will happen within like a month, and then it'll come and go, and it'll be a big thing. But that allows you to kind of take that next step. So it's a good thing, but patience is so difficult, especially when you've got things, and I know you've got good things coming up that you'd love to shout from the rooftops, but these contracts, I get it.
Yeah, but something that you said that just struck with me, and it's something that's so true that I didn't say, you said. You said come and go. That's the sad part about it. Like, yeah, I booked something incredible that I can't wait to talk about. But that's the thing. It's like, it's already come and gone. It was a job and it's done. Like when it premieres, hopefully other things flood in from that.
Leverage it. That's all you can do.
Yeah, but, that's the thing about living in Los Angeles is that, it's gold 1 minute and then the next minute you're back to square one.
That's this
Everything's
business.
gray again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so much up and down. My experience in general, of just living here has just been like very high highs and very low lows. And, to keep it in the middle, and I was telling my mom this is such a weird analogy, but like to keep your spirits up, it's almost like keeping a beach ball in the air.
Yeah.
It's like, some days it falls in the sand, and then other days you're like, okay, we got this. It's a lot of energy just to maintain life and keep your spirits up in this business. It is.
Maintaining, though, is the key, though.
It is. Yeah.
I feel like
it's hard.
We go through so much, but I feel like the ones that make it are the only ones that are left.
Yes. I can
who
totally
said that?
relate to that. Who?
David Hasselhoff. David Hasselhoff said, someone asked him, like, how did you make it? And he goes, you know what? I was the only one left. And it makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If there's no one in the room with you, you're like the only one left. People quit all the time. It's just no one notices. There's so many of us going for it all the time. So it really is just about you keeping that beach ball up, maintaining, and keep on the journey. Because the minute you pull over, you're obviously stopped.
Right.
You're stuck. And people are going to keep passing you by. Like, no one's going to stop and go, hey, I noticed you pull over back there. Did you need help?
Yeah.
It's never going to happen. So, so you just got to be like, you got to keep going or you'll get left in the dust. Totally. So you just got to keep on swimming.
Yeah. At one point, I looked around and I realized I'm the last one from my college years that are still here, still doing it. And now a lot of my friends who I started off as a page with at NBC, they've all moved on because now it's been 5-6 years. They want to do other things and go to other companies. So now I'm looking around and saying, well, now I'm the only one left from the page years still doing this. And granted, I've left NBC and come back and held about 7 different positions there, and they've all had like 1 and 2 and kept it. So I totally get them moving on. And I've lived my life too, but now it's like, really, I got the feeling like I'm the last man standing in this business sometimes when it comes to specifically like podcasting and stuff. So,
well, you know what? Everybody wants a podcast now.
Oh, I know.
Everybody wants one. Everybody has one.
Yeah.
So, the fact that you're on episode 97, I think that gives you a big leg up.
I hope so. Thanks. Yeah, it's been a long road taking that 97. And I know there are people out there who are like, I listened to a podcast and they're on their 349th episode. Good for them. But for me, this makes me happy. And this is, literally the best I can do. My day job, I'm producing, oh God, like now 4 shows. One guy, me doing these 4 shows, where usually there are about 4 to 6 producers assigned to one podcast. When you're looking at NPR, WNYC, these large podcasts, like our peers in the business.
Yeah.
So that, and then keeping this show going is just a lot. But luckily I love it and I'm able to do it. And I maintain, and like Hasselhoff, I'm still here.
We got to keep trucking. It's the only way, I feel like, because there's definitely no other set way or instructions to making it in this business. We just got to keep going.
Yeah, and it's changing all the damn time.
So much.
Especially with tech and digital, and like, where does that fall, and how do you monetize these things, and is the future now? Are we building blocks still until like 2020, and what happens at 2020? It's a mess. Yeah. So, just going to hang on.
And you know what? Everyone's making their own thing these days. And like everyone that's making it is 16 years old and they're like all incredible. So it's like, feel like if we don't get it together, these young people are going to take over the world.
I know because they started so much younger than us too. They've got the skill set.
I went out and partied and hung out and had a good time and then decided to get serious.
I taught myself how to edit when I was young, and I am so glad I did because it got me to where I am. I couldn't imagine starting now. Oh, my God.
Right.
I couldn't do it. But anyway, this has been great. Thank you for the chat. I feel like I had the day off because I just got to talk with you like friends. It was so easy. So I appreciate it. Thanks for ranting with us.
Thanks for having me on. I had a really good time. And yeah, I had been waiting to come on the Rants, so I'm excited for having me. Thank you for having me on.
Yes,
it was great.
My pleasure. We'll be back with more Rants, kids. Again, Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk Live June 30th here in LA. And if you want to support the podcast further, if you can't make it, check us out if you like over on patreon.com/Grants Rants. And one more time for good measure, this episode has been brought to you by artistpodcast.com. I love you for listening, and we'll be back with more rants on the road to 100 episodes.
This has been Grant's Rants. Support the Rants on Patreon. Follow us on Twitter @It's Grant's Rants. Cover art created by RHONY. Voiceover by Aw Yeah. Original theme music composed by Alexander Arntzen. The Grant Michael Collection.